In the land of Uz, there was a man unlike any other. His name was Job. He was a man of integrity, known for his kindness, wisdom, and unwavering devotion to God. Job's life was a testimony to righteousness. He feared God and shunned evil, and because of his faithfulness, the Lord blessed him abundantly. His wealth was vast, thousands of sheep, camels, oxen, and donkeys. His home was filled with love, laughter, and the joy of his 10 children. People admired him. His servants respected him. His name was spoken with honor. To the world, Job had it all. Yet his greatest treasure was not his riches, it was his relationship with God. Every morning he rose early to offer sacrifices for his children, interceding for them, ensuring that their hearts remained pure before the Lord. Little did Job know that his faith was about to be tested in a way that no man had ever endured. A storm was coming, one that would strip away everything he had, yet reveal the unshakable foundation of his soul. Far beyond the sight of men in the courts of heaven, a conversation was taking place, one that would change Job's life forever. It was a moment of cosmic significance, where the forces of good and evil intersected, and the faith of one man would be put to the ultimate test. The scene was set in the divine assembly, where the heavenly beings stood before God, their creator and sovereign judge. Among them was one who did not come to worship or serve, but to accuse, to challenge the very foundation of righteousness. It was Satan, the adversary, the accuser of mankind. God looked upon Satan and asked, "From where have you come?" With a sly and knowing tone, Satan responded, "From roaming through the earth and walking back and forth on it." Job 1:7. His answer carried a deeper implication. He had been surveying the world, seeking vulnerabilities, searching for those he could tempt, deceive, and destroy. And now, standing before the Almighty, he had a target in mind: Job, a man unlike any other in his devotion and integrity. God, in his divine confidence, posed the challenge first. "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him, a man blameless and upright, who fears God and shuns evil." Job 1:8. Satan smirked. He had been waiting for this opportunity. "Does Job fear God for nothing?" he sneered. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." Job 1:9-11. It was a challenge laced with cynicism. Satan insinuated that Job's righteousness was transactional, that his faith was conditional. He argued that Job served God not out of love, but out of self-interest. Take away the blessings, remove the hedge of protection, and Job would reveal his true nature, one of self-preservation, not genuine devotion. God, in his infinite wisdom, allowed the test to unfold, not because he doubted Job, but because he knew the depth of true faith. He knew that Job's righteousness was not built on wealth or comfort, but on trust in the unseen. And so, God responded to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." Job 1:12. With that decree, the hedge of protection was lifted. The unseen battle had begun. The enemy was unleashed, and the storm that would shatter Job's world was on its way. In a single moment, the righteous man who once knew peace and prosperity would soon face suffering beyond comprehension. His faith would be stripped to its core, tested in fire, and refined like gold. Yet what Satan failed to grasp was the essence of true faith. Faith that does not waver in the absence of blessings. Faith that endures even in the silence of heaven. Faith that clings to God even when the world falls apart. And so, the trial of Job began. One by one, the messengers arrived, each bearing news more devastating than the last. The first came running, breathless, his face pale with terror. "Master, the Sabaeans attacked. They have stolen all your oxen and donkeys. The servants who guarded them, they are all dead." Before Job could process the words, another messenger appeared. "Fire from the heavens. It fell and consumed your sheep and shepherds. Nothing remains." Job's heart pounded as a third messenger rushed in. "The Chaldeans raided your camels. They have killed your servants and taken everything." But the final blow came with the last messenger, his face heavy with sorrow. "Your sons and daughters, they were feasting together. A great wind struck the house. It collapsed. None survived." In mere moments, Job lost everything: his wealth, his security, his legacy, his beloved children. The weight of grief crushed him. His hands trembled, his knees buckled. He tore his robe and fell to the ground. Yet, in his deepest agony, Job did something unthinkable. Then Job arose, tore his robe, shaved his head, and fell to the ground in worship. Job 1:20. Instead of cursing God, he praised him. "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Job 1:21. But Satan was not done. He had seen Job endure the loss of his wealth and children without cursing God, so he sought to afflict him further. "Skin for skin," Satan said. "A man will give all he has for his own life, but stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face." Job 2:4-5. And so Job was struck with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. His once strong body became weak and frail. His skin cracked, his wounds festered, and his days were filled with suffering. In his misery, Job sat among the ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery. His wife, overwhelmed by grief, looked at him with despair. "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." Job 2:9. But Job's reply was firm. "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" Job 2:10. Even in suffering, he would not turn his back on God. The silence of friends and the noise of accusation. Job's friends came to visit, but instead of comforting him, they accused him. They believed suffering was the result of sin. Surely Job had done something terrible to deserve such punishment. For days they debated. Job defended his innocence. He pleaded with God, wrestling with his pain. He questioned why the righteous suffer. Why do the wicked live on, growing old and increasing in power? Job 21:7. The accusations weighed heavily on Job, adding to his grief. His friends, who should have offered support, became another source of pain. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar insisted that Job must have sinned, for in their minds, suffering was always a sign of divine judgment. They could not grasp the possibility that trials could serve a greater purpose beyond human understanding. Job, in his suffering, cried out, not in rebellion, but in deep anguish. He longed for answers. He longed for justice. He longed for God to reveal the reason for his pain. And yet, even in his questions, Job never abandoned his faith. He knew that beyond his suffering, God was still there. Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. Job 13:15. His words stand as a declaration of trust, a testament to a faith that does not depend on circumstances. Job refused to curse God, even when he could not understand his ways. His suffering was not a sign of abandonment, but a test of endurance. And in the silence of his friends and the noise of their accusations, Job held on to the only thing that mattered, his unwavering trust in God. Then, in the whirlwind, God answered. His voice thundered through the heavens. He did not explain Job's suffering, but he reminded Job of his power. "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Tell me if you understand." Job 38:4. Job was silenced. He realized that God's ways are beyond human understanding, and with that realization, Job humbled himself before the Lord. "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." Job 42:5. Restoration, beauty from ashes. Because of Job's faithfulness, God restored him. His health was renewed. His wealth was doubled. He was blessed with more children, and his latter years were even greater than his former ones. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former. Job 42:12. But the greatest blessing was not his wealth. It was the deeper, unshakable faith he had gained. Job's story is not just about suffering. It is about endurance, trust, and the faith that stands firm in the storm. Job's story speaks to us today. There are moments when life shatters, when we face trials that make no sense. We cry out for answers, but all we hear is silence. But Job's life teaches us this. Faith is not about understanding everything. It's about trusting God, even when we don't. If you are going through a season of suffering, hold on. Trust in God. He is still working, even in the silence. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. Like Job, your story is not over. Keep your faith. Your restoration is coming. Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. Job 13:15.